It is a game-clinching game day of the Goldie on Ice podcast presented by Amerant Bank. I remind you to go to amerantbank.com, check out the Panthers themed debit card, and really getting to know the folks at the bank from the top right on through. They really do a terrific job at Amerant Bank. Thanks to them for all the playoff coverage that I've been bringing you with the content on my Twitter, on my Instagram, at Goldie on Ice, and here on the Goldie on Ice podcast. Also want to thank JetBlue for the transportation to and from New York. And we'll see if we've got to do it one more time. Game 6. Panthers hosting the New York Rangers is tonight. The Panthers have a 3-2 series lead in the Eastern Conference Final. The Panthers are trying to become the first team in 15 years to lose in the Cup Final, and then the following year go back to the Stanley Cup Final. Pittsburgh Penguins did that, and they actually won it in the second year in the rematch with the Red Wings. So the Panthers were down 2-1 in this series. Kind of a fluky game number 3 to put them behind. They've been really terrific since. They dominated game 4. Give the Rangers credit in that game. They were literally just hanging on after the first period of game 4 at Amerant Bank Arena. The Panthers' shot attempts advantage was 70-16. I mean, just an unfathomable number on that. They ended up getting the Reinhart overtime winner. They got what they deserved in that game. And, you know, game 5 was, I thought in the first period, advantage Rangers, but fairly even. The Panthers did a good job. They knew the Rangers would come out strong, and they were able to stem the tide and keep it scoreless. And under the radar, I thought Sergei Bobrovsky was really terrific. Igor Shesterkin is getting all the headlines. As well, he should get a ton of credit. He has been under siege. He's a great goalie. I think without him, with average goaltending, the series would already be over. So all the accolades to Shesterkin, but Sergei Bobrovsky's been excellent. He had the one shaky game, and, you know, Shesterkin gave up 4 that game as well, that 5-4 game. Other than that, Sergei Bobrovsky's allowed 2 goals or less in every single game going back after game 1 of the Boston series. The team in front of him is playing great, but no matter what, there's times against these high-end teams, and the Rangers are clearly one of them with some great offensive players, that Bobrovsky has been in great position. He had the huge save in Game 4 when they were down 1-0 on Zibanejad. The one he got a piece with the shoulder, then it hit the crossbar. If that goes in, who knows? It's a 2-goal deficit. Tough to come back from that in a playoff situation. So I think Sergei Bobrovsky is one of the guys kind of flying under the radar in the series because the opposing goaltender has been so busy and so spectacular, and he's got to be to keep the Rangers in games, that Bobrovsky's getting lost in the shuffle a little bit. But in Game 5, typical Florida Panthers, stay with it, grind it, respond. They give up a shorthanded goal on a very uncharacteristic turnover by Matthew Tkachuk, who, by the way, showed his leadership after the game, immediately calls himself out, says, that's a bad play by me, thanks to the guys for picking me up. Stand-up guy there, but by Tkachuk, who, by the way, may not have the goals and the points in the series, but he is physically wearing down the Ranger Stars. Every time he can get a hit on Trocheck, every time he can bang around Panarin, Matthew Tkachuk is doing that time and time again. He's been part of the Panthers' top 6 defensively that has been able to neutralize and really shut down the Rangers' top 6. I mean, keep this in mind. Without Barclay Goodrow, the series is probably over. Without the 3rd and 4th line from the Rangers getting some, whatever you want to call them, they scored. Give them credit. Some people say fluky. Some say Bobrovsky should have had him. Bad defensive play by the Panthers in overtime, leaving Wenberg alone in front. Bottom line is, Wenberg and Goodrow scored some big goals. I mean, that's it. The Panthers finally got one from their bottom 6, and they did it at the key time with the Anton Lundell de facto game winner in Game 5, midway through the final period to put them ahead. Lundell, Losterinen, Tarasenko, I thought were awesome in that 3rd period in Game 5. Tarasenko, I know some fans are down on him. I'm telling you, don't be, because he's playing team hockey. Could he go out there and cheat a little bit and get some more shots and maybe a couple of goals more? Maybe. He's a big body. He bangs. He's not just an offensive player. And from what Paul Maurice says, when he was with Barkov and Reinhart, now he's with the two young Finns. Every time he's on the bench, he's talking hockey with those guys. He's engaged. He's keeping guys engaged. And for a guy that's been around as long as he has, thinks the game the way he thinks it, a Stanley Cup winner, I think they may have found a little something. They need 5 more wins to win the whole damn thing. And if those guys can have 5 more good games together, it's going to be big because you know what those other lines can do. And another guy, Evan Rodriguez, has really been good playing up there with Tkachuk and Bennett, grinding, working the boards. And I really thought the microcosm of this Panther team this entire year was in the last 14.2 seconds of game number 5. When the Rangers got the goal back, it's 3-2. You never know. You don't think they're going to give up 2 in a minute to send it to overtime, but you never know. And Niko Mikkola has a chance to rim that puck around. And I know I'm watching it at the Garden. I'm thinking, okay, get it out. I'm looking at the clock, 13 seconds, 14. I'm like, yeah, that's too long, I think, to eat it. You know, if there's 8 or 9 seconds, sure, you eat the puck, pin it to the board. Niko Mikkola, so confident in himself and in his teammates, pins that puck to the boards to the right of Bobrovsky. He's got 2 or 3 other Panthers coming over behind him, layering in. And I'll tell you what, if there was 30 seconds left in that game, the Rangers weren't getting that puck off the wall. And I thought that really epitomized this Panther team. Calm, cool, smart, tough, confident, support each other. And that's how they closed out game 2. I thought it was pretty fitting that that's the way that game 5, I should say, ended. So, the Panthers are now incredible in the Eastern Conference the last 2 years. 14-3 on the road. In Boston, New York, Tampa, Toronto, Carolina. Tough places to play. Best teams in the East. So I've been asked the question the last 48 hours many times. Is it a must-win? You don't want to go back to New York for Game 7. It is not a must-win. I will still be confident if they go back to New York in Game 7. I didn't think Game 5 was a must-win. Obviously, they really want to have it wins. Certainly tonight, because you don't want to leave it to chance to a Game 7. But you know what? I thought the Panthers would win the series in 7. And I do think they get it done tonight, though, in game number 6. I do. I think, all of the things that they do, the Rangers are a terrific team in a lot of it. The Panthers are just that half a step better. They're grittier. They're deeper. They're literally tougher. And the big factor to me in the series, or one of the really big factors, not only the play of Barkov, who has just been outrageous. By the way, he's playing the best hockey of his career, and I don't even think it's close. The fact that the special teams battle, all the talk about the Panther power play, the Ranger power play, and the Panther power play has been pretty darn good too. And a lot of times, Game 5 was an exception. Even when they don't score, they're keeping the momentum because it's looked good and they've had the puck. So I think that's been a very big factor. And one more win to go back-to-back to the Cup Final. Incredible for a franchise that before 12 months ago had been to a Stanley Cup Final once, ever, in the 29 years. Now here we are in the 30th anniversary season, and they're on the brink of going back-to-back. Quickly, Edmonton, big effort in Dallas last night. They've got a 3-2 lead. The Panthers, for the first time in their history, if they're able to get the Rangers series done, and if Edmonton wins one more, the Panthers will have home ice advantage in a Stanley Cup Final. All right, that'll do it for the Game 6 Game Day Goldie on Ice podcast. I want to thank our producer, Brett Markowitz. Once again, the Goldie on Ice podcast is presented by the great folks at Amerant Bank. Go to amerantbank.com. Check out all of your banking needs, their full service, and that Panthers debit card. Very cool item to have. We'll talk to you soon.